Sunday, December 28, 2025. And we're in that period. We're in the post-Christmas haze. But we are still in the lead up to the 2026 New Year. I wanted to sit down this morning and take a moment to make some reflections and summaries of my Christmas 2025 stitching. It only felt right to give a final update. And then from there, I want to talk about my 2026 plans, my 2026 journal ecosystem, my cross-stitch plans, anything else that comes to mind. In my last video, you were with me when I finished stitching my Home for Christmas Plum Street Sampler cross-stitch pattern. I'm so glad that I recorded my final stitches. It was quite a moment. This is my first cross-stitch finish. I did finish it into a pillow. What I'm calling a hard finish. I'm not sure if that's the lingo, but that's what I'm calling it. I finished it with the Lady Dot Creates mini pom-poms. This is what the pattern calls for. I then have it finished on the back with this, I guess it's a gingham. I think it matches perfectly and ties in the red on the cross-stitch design. I think it also makes it really lovely and Christmassy. I filled it with finely ground walnut shell. It took about 750 grams, which I purchased from A Stitch in Time. It has got some really lovely weight to it. I really love the final product. I'm really proud of myself for being able to finish this. It was slightly fiddly, but given it's my first cross-stitch finish and therefore the first time I finished my own piece, I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's really giving grandma core, which is what I'm all about. Divine. Love it. I did pick Kringles back up. After a period of neglect, I did do it, and I'm really pleased that I did. When I first spoke about this piece, I mentioned that there is a Verosoir silk that's called for in this design that is mixed with a DMC. So it's one thread of Verosoir, one thread of DMC combined to make one called for colour. I was having trouble sourcing the Verosoir. It's the Verosoir number 40128. Which is a gold metallic Verosoir silk. I was having trouble sourcing it in Australia. I have sourced it and it is on its way from A Stitch in Time. I'm not sure what I would do without A Stitch in Time at this point. They single-handedly provide all my cross-stitch needs and resources. I have been able to complete this entire upper section, so that's about a week's stitching. I really enjoy the red brick. It's really balancing out this bottom half that is quite heavy in black, and I think it's really coming together. I've had a really good time. It was a really interesting transition from Welcome Home, which is a 36 count 1/2. It's a much finer, less coverage stitch. This is a 30 count 2/2. So it's much fuller coverage, but it's been a really fun experience. Coming back to this, I think there's something to be said about having variety, at least for me, in the count that I have for my projects. And I fundamentally really enjoy the full coverage of these stitches. And I think this is a really good place to put this down. So my plans, in terms of that gold thread that I'm missing, there's the inside of the clock that's missing. There's a couple of stitches here that's missing. We're also missing a chandelier that fills in this top section here, as well as the flame for the candle and the door handle here. So The Overswa silk is meant to be delivered, today is Sunday, it's meant to be delivered Tuesday or Wednesday, which is taking us up to New Year's Eve. I think it would be quite well planned and organised of me to come back and fill in the gold thread sections when it arrives. So that way when I put it down for the year, I'm leaving it in a really good position so that I would have completely finished 1 page out of 4 and made a really good start on the 2nd page and left it at a really clean point up here. After here, above this section, we go back into another section of brickwork and window panes. So it is a really nice spot for me to be able to put it down for 9 months, pick it back up late 2026. So that's what I'm planning to do. That concludes Christmas stitching for 2025. I'm really excited to take some of my learnings into 2026. Speaking of, let's chat about it. Let's talk about 2026 plans. So in terms of 2026 cross stitch plans, I have a couple. I don't want to plan my whole year. I want to be able to make new plans as we go, have my taste change, be able to have some initial direction without committing to an entire year of stitching. So in terms of projects I've already started, this isn't in a pretty project bag. I think I will have to potentially make a couple of other project bags. Twist my rubber arm, I'll do it if I have to. This is my first big cross stitch pattern. I started it early 2025 and would really like to finish it within the next couple of months in early 2026. I have shown this before, you might recall. It is a pattern that I got off Etsy. It is on a 14 count Aida. It's where I originally started and the project that really got me deep into the cross stitch world. I've done a lot. This was my only stitch for the majority of 2025. I had put it down for a couple of months and did pick it back up. As you can see, there's a lot of color change. It can be difficult, particularly as I was getting higher up, to be able to follow the pattern and make sure my counting was accurate. So I ended up putting this grid, which has been really helpful. There are 40 colors in this pattern. I'm using all the called for, it's all DMC. I think it's really achievable to finish this relatively quickly. As you can see, I have created floss drops for this pattern, which is going to make such a meaningful difference in terms of the time taken for color changes. This is what I want to put a lot of work into early on because I would like to get it finished. I have a really good time stitching it. I'm interested to see how I feel going back to this after working on linen for a couple of months, as well as working with hand-dyed threads. I'm well over halfway. I've started, this is part of the bunny's face. From here, I think there's another section on top. So I'm on the 3rd page out of 4. This gridded section is the 3rd page. That's my first plan. Okay, that is my only project that is started. The others, so they will be new starts, and I've got some plans. First up, I have fully kitted Miss Hazel Animal Cracker by Stacey Nash. I love it. I think she is so sweet, and I feel more comfortable and more confident, I suppose, being able to finish this now that I've had a go at the pillow, and that went quite well. The called for fabric on this is a 36 count needle bling linen in the colour suede. I did get this from the Stitchery Sisters, which is based in the UK. So I was able to source that there. I think it's really cute. I'm really excited to start this. I actually think I might be starting this today. I think this is where we're going to start. This is the only project I have fully kitted at the moment. I think this is going to be my first start. Next, I have 2 patterns from the Stitchery Sisters. This is a UK-based company that I was introduced to from the Periwinkle Stitcher, and I think they're such sweet designs. I really like a functional finish. So, first off is the Cherry Garden Sampler. It's a sewing pouch. Shan from Periwinkle Stitcher finished this not so long ago, and it just was so divine. So the fabric I've purchased for this is the Fox and Rabbit 40 count desert taipan. I got a fat quarter because I was hoping to use this for 2 projects. I'll show you the other in a moment. This is the fabric that Shan used for her project, and it really seemed to work well with the colors. That's going to be my first 40 count, and I'm interested to see how that goes. I have purchased all the called for colors for this project, and they are on their way. They're in the same parcel as my Overa Star Silk. So once that arrives, this will be fully kitted and ready to go. The other pattern that I purchased was the Changing Seasons needle roll. I hope to use the same fabric for both projects. I think I'll probably start the needle roll first and then move on to the sewing pouch second. Shipping from the UK was pretty reasonable. I think it was about $30 to get to Australia, which is super reasonable. So these are going to be my next projects as well. So animal cracker, needle roll, sewing pouch. I wanted to show this one because this is going to be my next project once I finish the Gentleman Bunny. This is the Teresa Kogut sampler. It's Heaven and Nature. It is a big one. It's 284 by 360 stitch count. It's on a 40, it calls for a 40 count linen, which totals to a 14 by 18 inch project. It is seemingly Christmas themed. It does have 2 Christmas trees and some reindeers, but if I were to take those out, I wouldn't know that this is a Christmas stitch, which gives me permission to do it during the year. It's not kitted at the moment, but that's my plan. That's all my plans so far for 2026 stitching. That will keep me busy. This is my 2026 journal ecosystem, my tetrakaigi, if you will. I can appreciate it might look excessive right now, but each journal has a role, a purpose. My main gal. This is my Traveler's Journal, Tokyo Station Special Edition. I love her with everything in my being. The charms on the front are largely Traveler's Company. Here, I'm not sure I've ever shown this. This is twistable, and there's a little scroll inside. You can put all your details and contact information if your journal gets lost. This is a Japanese coin that I've popped on the front and the Tokyo Station charm. We've also got the train charm as the bookmark down the bottom. This is my main girl. It's my memory keeper. I have made changes to this for 2026. In this leather pocket at the front, there is some planner stickers, things that don't quite make sense to go in my sticker books. And I also have the 2026, the Traveler's Spirit plastic pocket and writing board. This is the leather insert. I got this from the Nakameguro Travelers Company shop in Japan. And this year I've changed it up. So 2025, I used the dated Travelers insert. It had standard paper. It was fine. It was on the larger side, and I found I often didn't need that much space. I use this to memory keep, essentially. So I don't use it as a planner. When I write my activities on the left-hand side, which is usually in the week's format, it's purely for memory keeping, and I will always put photos of that week on the memo side on the right-hand side of the double spread. And so this year I thought to change it up, and I've ended up opting for the Hobonichi 2026 Weeks Planner, just the standard one, in wine brown. This is the leather cover, and I really ended up opting for this because I wanted the Tomo River 52 GSM paper. that was my primary interest this year. This is currently blank, but to give you a bit of an overview, we have the yearly spread moving into monthly spreads. They are all back to back. And then we move into the standard weeks spread. So my plans for this remains the same as it was in 2025. My only thoughts so far, at the start of every year, I put together a Pinterest board. One could call it a vision board. It's essentially taking a moment to reflect on what I want the year to look like and making a Pinterest board that reflects that. I like to print those photos and put them at the start of the journal, but this doesn't really have the space. So I could put it maybe here, but otherwise we don't have a blank page. We move straight into the yearly spread, and maybe I put it on top of this. I'm not sure yet. That's my only thoughts so far. But other than that, I'm really excited to give this a go. I think the Tomo River paper is delightful. This is my 2026 plans for my memory keeping. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Maybe I'm a Hobonichi Weeks girl now. Staying in the Travelers Company standard size, this is my stationery journal. This isn't a super regular rotation. I don't pick this up all the time, but it definitely serves a purpose in my collection. This is the road trip special edition cover. On the front, we've got Travelers Company charms or collaborations. This is the miso paper collaboration with the Superior Labor, and it's a little ticket. I have the Japan Mount Fuji special edition charm, and this is from the Travelers Company. It is a charm where you can hold a spare ink cartridge. Need I say more? On the front, we also have a little Travelers Factory charm. This is a ticket. So, as I mentioned, I don't pick this up all the time, but it definitely has a role in my system. So, in the front, I've got the Tokyo Station insert. This is my shrine. I just love the packaging of some of the Travelers Company Superior Labor products, and I wanted to keep it. So sometimes when I am purchasing from stores that feel special, I put a little collage. So this is from Mrs. Blackwell's in New Zealand. This is some of the special edition covers. So that's the first insert, a plastic pocket, which currently doesn't serve a whole lot of purpose. And then have the undated monthly insert. I saw this on another creator's YouTube. I will link her down below. Full credit for this idea. This was not my original idea. I saw it on her channel first. And I love the way it displays my inks and my ink swatches. So you might remember in my 2025 favorites, I was referencing having the pen that I use to swatch. These are the swatches and what they look like. So it allows for a really controlled sample, and then I use my dip pen to be able to swatch the colors. I love it. I've organized it by shades. It's really handy. In the back, I have the other end of the plastic pocket. This is currently holding some ephemera and packaging that I will one day make a spread out of. I then have the, is this the 2019 plastic pocket? It might be. This is housing my Travelers Company stickers, all the special editions. I've got train ones, I got this one from the Stamp Caravan at Big Bookbinders not long ago. We've got another station. We've got some of the Panam stickers. There's a few in here. Traveller's Hotel. I got this on eBay when I got my Traveller's Hotel cover. I cherish these like they're gold, which I don't know if I should. I also got this on eBay when I purchased my Traveller's Hotel special edition cover. It is the plastic pocket from Traveller's Town, and then the Coffee and Notebooks writing board. As I mentioned at the start, it's not one that I pick up all the time. It's definitely not a weekly use, but has a significant role in my stationery life and journal ecosystem. Moving on. This is a leather journal that I purchased independently. It's my reading journal. I'm not going to get too into this because I recently did a flip through of this in one of my last videos. If you're interested, please jump over there and have a look. I've made no changes to this since the flip through, but I am hoping to pick it up in 2026 when I start reading again. I am sure this reading slump cannot last forever, so I'll continue to use it in 2026. Okay, moving into my A6 journals. These are also my work journals. You would have seen these recently on my 2025 stationery favourites. I have purchased the tall Superior Labour pouch. It's the one that fits an A6 journal and has little covers. It's recently been released. I will be using that for work to house these two journals. So the light brown cover holds my everyday planner. This, I ended up opting for the Wonderland 222 A6 planner in, I believe, the core journal. I know they changed their paper this year. It feels lovely. I have used a fountain pen on it. It seemed fine. There was no bleeding through. There was a bit of ghosting, as I would expect. Generally have been opting to use my Zebra Sarasa 0.3 millimeters in the brown, and that's got zero ghosting on it. I am using this as largely a to-do list. So this is a standard spread. So far, I really enjoy it. I enjoy having the entire week visible to me. There are some memo pages in the back, a few, not too many, and I really like the opportunity for that. And other than that, I have got the Hobonichi A6 pencil board in here as well, in the back, which I have been using and it's been very handy. I really enjoy the red combination with the light brown. It's stunning, it's visually appealing. I like not having my front cover tucked in. And so far, really like this. It starts in December, so I have been able to use this for a couple of weeks now, and so far, so good. And as I mentioned in my 2025 stationery favorites, this is the A6 cover in natural. It's linked in my previous video. This has its front cover tucked in. It is a plain gridded Hobonichi paper. I keep this and use this purely for any operational notes that I might need, processes, procedures, things like that. This is my reference point for all those sorts of things. So as I mentioned, these will be housed in the A6, or it's not really an A6, it's the tall Superior Labour pouch. And that is my work planning system and A6 planners. Moving on to passports. First up, you have seen my Love and Trip red passport, heavily accessorized in gold. On the front, I've got a Superior Labour, I believe it's a money clip. I've got a Maduri pen holder, the Starbucks Reserve Roastery charm, and then a charm from, I believe, this is Temu, and same as the little bookmark envelope charm on the bottom. On the top, I have a clip. In this is my life planner journal. It's not an everyday, but it is very functional for me. It keeps records of any life admin things that I might have. So any medical notes I might have, medical things I need to do, travel lists go in here. I have 3 inserts, and then this last one here, this is the coffee Starbucks Reserve Roastery Passport Special Edition insert. I have this to swatch my Tombow pens and other markers, my mild liners, and this just fits really nicely in here. It felt like a good place to put it. Moving on, we have my Starbucks Reserve Roastery Camel Passport Special Edition. These charms on the front, this is a cup and saucer with a little teaspoon. I got this from Temu, and the watering can came off a necklace that I purchased in Japan in a little shop, so it felt really fitting to put on this journal because this is my gardening journal. I wanted a way to record things going on in the garden, times that I'm, putting seeds down, planting, making plans. It hasn't gotten a lot of use, and considering we're in summer, I would like to use this more, but I'm glad to have it set up, and I think this is something that I'll just use over time. So in the front, I have a cardboard pocket insert. The Diggers, oh gosh, what is this called? The Diggers Club. The Diggers Club, I have really big, I think they're A2 posters, and they give a guideline on when to sow seeds, flowers, vegetables. So I did, for personal use only, shrink those down and print them so I could keep them in here for quick reference. I then purchased this paper, and it's so sweet. I was really, really pleased when I found this paper. So I covered both my inserts with this paper. As you can see, it just felt really fitting. You're joking. So in this first insert, we have a undated monthly. This is where I hoped to make plans for any sowing of seeds, planting, cleaning, all those things. I haven't really used it. I set up September when spring hit in Australia, but didn't follow it. That wasn't necessarily an issue with the journal itself, but more where I was at with gardening, and I did let things go. So my goal is to continue to use this over the years. Obviously, this is particularly relevant for spring and summer. I don't do a lot of planting in autumn, winter, so I liked the undated, so I wasn't wasting so many pages not using them. And the second insert is just a lightweight paper insert where I can keep any notes that I might want. So things that worked well, didn't work well, planting times that, was particularly successful, not successful, anything like that. Again, it's currently quite blank. In the back, I just have this envelope. I really like this envelope. I thought it was stunning, so I've just tucked it in the back there. And last but not least, this is maybe one of my most used journals. This is a it's a brown passport traveller's company journal. On the front, I've got the Superior Labour patch. It's that I Love Handmade patch. I've just slid it on the top because I'm too scared to glue it. And I've got this brass charm on the front that is the Superior Labour. This journal is my health and wellness tracker and journal, also my running log. So at the front, I've got a cotton pouch. I've got the Love and Trip passport plastic folder with the 2026, the Traveller's Spirit writing board tucked in. In here, I have my dot stickers. These I will link down below. I believe these might be the 0.6 mil dots. Majority that I could find was 0.8 mils, and that felt too big to me. I got these comes in big rolls from AliExpress. I've cut off sheets just to have them easily accessible so I'm not having to carry around rolls, and they are a coating system. So in this first, I should probably mention at the top here, I've got a brown leather Traveller's Company pen loop, and this is a Moonman pocket fountain pen in brown that I got from AliExpress. I'll link it below. I really enjoy having this here, so is it accessible. This is a journal that I will often put in my utility pouch and take it to a cafe, so I like having all of this super easily accessible to me. In the front here, I have a undated insert again, and on the front page I have my legend or key where I can reference what color means what. So I've got a few months in here, but this is a typical setup. So it's purely a dot system. I stamp with my Kodomo petite stamps that I mentioned in my last video with the finger puppet stamps as well. Again, mentioned in my last 2025 stationery favorites video. This is what this typically looks like. I really enjoy being able to look at this at a glance and being able to track what's going on. It's quite motivating for me to be able to track something like this. So that's what that typically looks like. I really enjoy tracking this. It gives me something to log without being too, hypercritical of what I'm doing. I then have a Traveller's Company passport insert. This is a lightweight paper insert, and this is where I will track my runs. So just as an example, this is just the way I've set it up. I've tried a couple of things. I've ended up just liking this one the most. So at the top, I'll put the date, the kilometers that I ran. I put in the time taken for the run, my average heart rate, my max heart rate, my zones. So this is my zone 5 down to zone 1. My average pace, how I felt and how hard it felt. Those are metrics from my Garmin Forerunner. And then at the bottom, I wanted to start keeping track of any reflections I might have, why a run was particularly good or particularly difficult, why anything that might happen. So I've just kept a little note section at the bottom here. It's the same setup for all of them. So this is a double spread. So I do it this way. That is my wellness and running journal. That is my 2026 journal, ecosystem and plans. I hope it's given you some inspiration for your own journals. I am constantly looking for inspiration of how I can make my journals work for me and make sure that they can actually be implemented. And I've tried and tested a lot of these, and they all serve a purpose in my life, and I get a lot of use out of them. I really enjoy them. There are some new things in this lineup, so it'll be interesting to see what changes across the year, what works, what doesn't work, but I'll keep you posted along the way. If you have any thoughts, recommendations, obviously put them down below. I'd love to hear. Thanks so much for watching. I'm really excited for 2026, for all the plans, all the stitching, all the journaling, all the creativity, all the crafts. Honestly, what more could you ask for? Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you soon.